It ain't loaded, is it?
Willie don't like it if it ain't loaded.
Lock and loaded.
We don't catch on that.
You probably did.
Now you got some bit of honey. Yep,
I do
that's
know
what
what
he
it
said.
is. I know what it is. I don't. You
I
don't.
can say I don't know.
If you get some, you'll know it.
I know turkey.
I don't see Miss Martha
Yeah,
here.
yeah. You be in high gear.
Mr. Terry, I don't see Miss Martha here.
It's worse than that.
I don't see Miss Martha here.
Yep.
Martha, you know who I'm talking about? Miss Martha. Martha Murray.
Ain't that state property?
I didn't see it.
I'll tell you. I got Chad. Because he had hired us. He took it with him and called it back. He said that he tried to mark on where he thinks the original was. He says it's on state property.
That's what I thought.
I went. I didn't know.
I don't think it ain't our
I don't
property.
see her here, but
We figured it was on the state.
And that's what Chad told me.
Hey,
all right, y'all ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
We ready.
you an appointment with my wife to fix that haircut there?
Okay, Johnny.
Yeah, slam together.
Yeah.
You're never disappointed when you say my bar's fine.
It don't bother me. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, here we go. Oh, my bit of honey fell off. Okay, we are about to start our regular meeting of Mayor and Board of Aldermen, Town of Selmer meeting, August 8th, 2023, in Selmer City Hall. We're going to call this meeting to order. We're going to start with our prayer from Mr. Ray Ollett.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity to gather here this evening. We're thankful for your love, your mercy, your grace towards us. We pray that thou would guide us in our thoughts and our actions as we discuss the town's business, and we pray that your blessings be upon this town as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. We'll go ahead and with our pledge of allegiance from Johnny Norris.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. And we won't keep softball big championship winners very long, but I want to congratulate y'all, and I'm going to go ahead and let Alderman Finlayson take the floor for this.
Yeah.
All right. The town wanted to do something for you guys for doing something that's never been done. It's pretty special to win a state championship. It's pretty special to win any championship, but for y'all to be the first team, that's pretty awesome. It's not easy, as y'all know. It was a team effort. I witnessed most all of it, and we just got a small token from the town of Selmer for what y'all done. So, Coach Mel, if you want to come on up. These are the plaques we got each player. Basically says 2023 state champions, McNary Central Lady Bobcat softball team. Congratulations from the town of Selma. Thank you. So, all right, if you want to call it, here,
Okay.
Mayor Inman's going to present them with their plaque.
All right. Noel. Jackie. Chloe. Aspen. Kirsten. Madison.
Jimmy Gray.
I know we've got some not here for volleyball and others and their stuff, so. If y'all wanna get around here, we'll walk back up top and see if y'all
Okay.
think we'll get
Alright.
pictures.
Hi, ladies, we need to probably two brothers. Huh?
Don't be bossy, Jimmy.
Yeah, just stand up behind,
Trying to-
that's the easiest. I'm trying to get in there.
Everybody back up. Everybody back up.
Hang on, hold on.
Yep, alright, we're good.
All right, here we go. On three, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thank you.
You didn't do nothing, I know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
She loves you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You sure you'll take the rest?
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I will get it.
Thank you.
Hold it, Mary. Well, that was the fun part. Are y'all ready for the next part? All right. We go on to our minutes, board approve. We need an approval to approve the minutes.
So moved. I'll second.
So moved by J.T. Hawkins and second by Alderman Sane. Ms. Ann?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
She's taking it. Next up is to approve the financials. Need board,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve by Alderman Norris. Do I have a
Second.
Second by, who was it? John Austin. Miss Ann?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is our reports, Park and Rec.
You have my report. I do want to give out a couple things about what we've done today. Isaiah and I went in this morning, and as a lot of people know, and some may not, that Josh Gray turned in his resignation letter. I'd like to read it right quick, but he turned it in yesterday, and so it says, "To whom it may concern. This letter serves as formal notice of my immediate resignation from the Park and Recreation Department as of August the 6th, 2023. I apologize for not providing the standard 2-week notice, but I am afraid I must leave or resign immediately due to the hostile environment. Unfortunately, over the past year and a half, the job demands have become unrealistic without adequate staff, and the work environment has become increasingly toxic. I have witnessed and experienced constant negative behavior, harassment, and relentless threats towards my supervisor, Sybil Dancer, and our entire department by the city mayor, Sherry Inman, that are both unprofessional and unethical. She refuses to speak with Mr. Dancer, but instead sends derogatory and threatening emails on a regular basis. She has made multiple statements that she plans to dissolve our department rather than building relationships and bringing positivity to the employees. She chooses to belittle the staff and our department continuously. As a result of the stress and negativity she has caused, I feel I have no other option but to pursue a career where I am not in constant fear of my future and where I feel supported and appreciated. As for Sybil and the city alderman, I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for the opportunities and support you've given me during my time with the city. It has been my pleasure to work with you and for the city I love. Sincerely, Josh Gray." So, when we started this morning, You know, as you know, morning times Josh would go out and do the city garbage, and he would do the city restrooms. I have a nighttime person, Mr. Isaiah Jackson, who is here tonight, and he went out and helped me do the bathrooms and the garbage today. So we could not do any mowing because it was awful wet. Of course, the rain we've had the last few days, so we were not able to do that. But I do want to show, because there was a big thing last week that was brought up about the wasp at the splash pad. Well, today when I went to the splash pad, even though the wasp nest was gotten down the other day by the street and sanitation, I got down 3 today. They just reproduce themselves over and over. And we all know that. That's nature. I mean, they're gonna come, and I do want you to know, and I'll show pictures here of me and Isaiah. We got the wasp nest down at the splash pad, and we also got the wasp nest down at the restrooms out at the city park, because there was some there. So I just wanted to show that we did work today. We took off a load of limbs out of the park. We blowed the pavilions off. We blowed the stage off. We blowed the pavilion in front of the stage off. Thank you, Ray, and your guys for coming and picking up the bigger limbs, because there was a tree down and I couldn't move it. I did the best I could. I even busted a knuckle trying to do it. So, you know, I just want you to know that I love my job. I do my job, and I know some of us think that I don't, but if you catch me out, and thank you, Chris, for getting Mr. Billy to fix our truck. He brought it back to me just as I was getting ready to leave in the green machine this morning. He brought me mine back, and we had it to use today. Got good cold air. I'm very appreciative for, and so I want to thank this board and Alderman for all your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Police Department.
During the month of July, we had 352 calls for service, which resulted in 53 incident reports. We worked 20 crashes, and we wrote 271 citations for the month of July. Any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Street and Sanitation.
For the month of July, we processed 320 work orders. We picked up and disposed of almost 134.4 tons of garbage. We picked up 16.6 tons of bulk, and we picked up 2.5 tons of recycling. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. Thank you.
Next up is Building Inspector.
For the month of July, I had 18 municipal complaints. I received 1 zoning complaint. I sent out 12 letters. Was able to resolve 9 complaints, issued 3 permits, and conducted 1 inspection. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Next up is Utility Division.
For the month of July, Utility Division repaired 8 gas leaks, 25 water leaks, made 1 gas tap, 6 water taps, pumped 79,134,000 gallons of water, and treated 19,000,000 gallons of wastewater. Questions?
I have a question. So on the Peach
Oh.
Street, are we getting any closer to fixing that on Peach Street that we looked at that time with the customer?
Yeah.
Is that still, are we, hopefully?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is City Attorney.
Mayor and Board, the matter I was just talking to the mayor about was, I was asked to look into this area up on the bypass where Ms. Murray is looking for some form of a dedicated driveway to her house. And I don't know if it's maybe her. I got a plat of the property, and I met today with Chad Rickman, and because he had prepared the original plat, and he took it with him, and then he sent me a marked up version, and it appears that what Ms. Murray needs is actually property that it's on the state's property. Now, this plat makes reference to two easements that I believe are probably for the benefit of the town, because one of them, it says it's an easement to get to the public, says to Selmer Public Works, and the other speaks about an easement along the center of an existing gravel drive for ingress and egress, only Perry, to the town of Selmer. And I'm gonna, with what I would suggest is I'm gonna get back in touch with Chad and make sure that I understand that latter part. It may be that even if it's on the state, if the town was granted some form of an easement over that property, we might can do something where we could provide a formal perpetual easement to her. I'll look at that and I'll let you know. I know I should know more about that before the next meeting, and I'll let all of you know. Other matter that we're having to take a look at is our commercial waste collection, and they proposed a new contract. Actually proposed that they wanted it to have already begun. I don't know if they're billing us at the new rates. Okay. Well, and I want to take a look at this. Mm-hmm. One of the problems I had, and I don't know exactly what we're paying now. Who has that information, Mayor?
That would be Ray
Okay,
Allett.
I'll get Ray, because I think most of you have seen the contract, and the proposed rates. It's a 2-year contract. City has a right to extend it. One of the questions is, can we enter into this contract as a renewal, extension, whatever of an existing contract, or are we going to have to bid it? The latter, I don't know if that's seller's puff or not, but the company that we have the contract with says that, well, you certainly have the right to do that, but it might result in higher rates. I'd say just keep that issue on the back burner, and I'll get back with you promptly as soon as I can compare these rates, and I'll get back in touch. And I think there was a item on the agenda tonight maybe to give me some authority to negotiate with them, and if you do that, I'll be glad to do that.
And Terry, I had a question. Do we have time whenever you start this negotiation? I mean, because we'll still pay the rates, and will we have time when you get back with them for their contract and to negotiate? I mean, since I guess this was supposed to take an effect, but
well,
we don't know.
I think so, and
1st of July.
I'd kind of take the position it's a bit of an arbitrary date. I don't even know when the existing contract expired.
Right.
You know, we've had, and there was some note, I know you had a note there on the agenda about there was litigation with this company, and I think that was like, I went back and looked, I believe that's like 2008.
Yes, that's
long
correct.
time ago, and I don't even remember, frankly, the results of that, but it was up in federal district court, and we had to someone else handle it. But I guess I would just say, I don't know how many. I don't know how many games. If they're the only game in town, that's one thing. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm going to compare these rates, and then I'm going to get in touch with these folks and see how much wiggle room we got, and we'll go from there. And for if there are any commercial customers here in the audience tonight and want to know the proposed new rates, just see me. We'll give you a copy of this part of it.
Okay.
And I think there's one other thing. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go into the old business. We still have this on the old business, Selmer Elementary. Oh no, did I forget somebody? Oh, I sure did, fire department again. So sorry, Chief Carr. Where were you? Oh no, oh no. Apologize, okay?
For the month of July, we run 64 medical calls. 18 of those was outside the city. We had 1 structure fire. We had 4 grass fires, 2 automobile fires, worked 11 automobile accidents. We had 5 false calls, and we had 15 public assist and cut trees out of the road for a total of 102 calls. We done 7 permits and inspections. We had 2 training meetings, a total of 60 training hours, and standby time 2,263 hours. And if you noticed on the back of the report that I gave y'all yesterday, my full-time employees, they appreciate the 5% raise. The part-time / volunteers, they've been behind for years, and it was a mistake, but Frankie got shorted some money last year. We overlooked it. So I talked with Angie. We're not going to have to change the bottom line. I'd like to move $8,000 around and us get your volunteer part-time up and get Frankie the rest of what's due to him. Like I said, it's not going to change the bottom line. We won't have to amend the budget or nothing, just move it around, correct, Angie?
And I had emailed MTS to make sure that was correct, and I hadn't got anything back yet, so I was waiting on Eric Spencer too, but, I mean, I do understand the urgency, I do. But we also have, you know, hopefully a policy that we can pass tonight to get the rest of that going forward, but what's your thoughts on it? Table it?
I mean, it's not changing I mean, all you're doing is moving some line items, and we do that all the time.
He's taking it out of one of his other line items within the fire department.
Shouldn't be an issue then.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I got a little emotional there with Josh because he's been with me a while and I'm really going to miss him. Now that Isaiah will be taking his place and helping me, he's going to be coming to daytime, full-time, or, you know, just so I can get someone. Would it be okay if I change his pay to the part-time pay of $11.50 because he's going to be out helping me mow and weed eat and, you know, do garbage and things like that? That he's not going to be sitting in the community center doing clerical work anymore. So, I mean, do I need to get a vote on that, or just do that, or how do I need to do that?
No, I think you're changing it to $11.50. I don't think that would be a problem for him to be moved up if he's going to be doing maintenance.
Yes. Thank you.
Did I skip anybody else? Okay. Going into old business now, Selmer Elementary School storm shelter still undecided.
I've not had the chance to go up there and have to go physical therapy 3 times a week where it hurt my knee. And just hopefully after next week I get to go back 2 days a week, so maybe I can get to go there, meet with them, get their policy, and let's go over with that, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And then we just discussed Martha Murray, land discussion, and turned over to the city attorney, and he is still working on that. So now we'll go into new business. We need the board approval for the Jeeps and Jams and fireworks show off-road event in the Selmer City Park on 8/19/23 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Still everything is
Yep, everything
is
Kim and
good.
myself met with Russell and Miss Morris this morning, and we're gonna get our map drawn out, so I've got the insurance certificate, police and cities, and additional insured. We're good on that.
Move.
Second.
So moved by, who was it? John Austin, and second by Alderman Norris. Miss Ann?
John Austin.
Yes.
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 Next up is, I need a motion to approve Elliot's login for the mowing, litter pickup, sweeping of the right-of-way maintenance agreement, 5-year contract for the amount of $97,638.61. And another thing, I guess I want to address to the city attorney, did we get a contract on that? Or is that something that we usually do? Because I didn't see one since 2018. I'm just,
Yeah, we usually have one. Or
Okay.
we sign off on the state contract one. I can't, you know, what,
we just couldn't find one
Yeah, what
to
the-
put in
what-
there.
whomever we contract with just takes that responsibility that is in our contract with the state. I'll take care of that.
Okay. All righty. And I did have a concern last night from one of the aldermen that, you know, we will be checking, and I had talked with the Elliott login, and they understand that, so we will be looking at that. Do I hear a motion to approve this? Or do y'all have any questions?
I make a motion that we do what we need to do, but once he let us know what this $97,000 is for, that we getting our money's worth with the contract, I mean.
Okay. Well, hang on just a second. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, so with the $97,000, that will be mowing, let's see, 2 cycles, and I'm not very good with the yardage of it. It just gives the yards of how much they mow, so much per month, and that will be sweeping. Using the tractor, bush hog, sweeper truck, 0-turn motor, mowers, weed eaters, trailer for litter, picking up the litter. That is exactly what it's all for, so that,
Mayor, some of the attendees would know, that contract, we contract with a third party, and we are reimbursed. I don't know if reimbursement the right word, Ann. We're paid by the state. So that, I'm not gonna say it doesn't cost anything. That's like, you know, something free is the most expensive thing in the world. But we are reimbursed or paid by the state. And in the contract, they prescribe certain rates for maintenance activities.
Yes,
Whether it's
that's
mowing
correct.
or weed eating or sweeping. And sometimes, perhaps if we're fortunate, we maybe are able to contract that out at a lower rate and save a little money that way. But just so folks will know, 97 grand will
It's a
come
lot.
back, comes to us from the state.
oh, well, thank you for clarifying that. I'm sorry I didn't read that right. Did I have a motion?
I made a motion. Somebody want a second, that's fine.
Motion by Sam, second by Alderman Norris. Any questions?
I got a
Thank you for
question.
clarifying that.
To my recollection, it seems as though 5 years ago, we put this subcontract up for bid.
Mhm.
Were there bid packets issued on this go around,
Mhm.
or do we just?
No, we had a bid package put out, Miss Ann, and then it was run in the paper, and we had bid openings on, what day was that, Miss Ann, that we had a bid opening on? You had that?
Were they the only bid or the?
Yes, they were the only ones, they were the only bids. We didn't have anybody show up. They were the only ones. We did everything properly.
Good deal.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. All right, Miss Ann.
John Austin.
Yes.
John Phillips.
Yes.
Tracy Hawk.
Yes.
Johnny Norris.
Yes.
Willie Sine.
Yes.
Roger Perry.
And I want to clarify that that bid opening was Friday, July the 21st, 2023 at 11 a.m. That was when your bids was open. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. Okay, next up is I just needed approval for the board if they would allow to move October work session and town hall meetings to the 16th and the 17th. That would be a problem with anybody?
So moved. Second.
Johnny Norris, motion yes, and second was J.T. Hawkins. Thank you for that.
John Austin,
Yes.
John Phillips,
Yes.
J.T. Hawkins,
Yes.
Johnny Norris.
Yes.
Willie Stain.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I did put together, with help with an employee performance evaluation policy, and I just, you know, it's a start, so just put it on the table and let y'all read it. Did y'all have any questions? Something that I was hoping we could pass and look forward to getting on with our rest of our raises with our department heads and our department employees, as the department heads had brought that to us. But I do understand that, you know, this is important policy. I did speak with Terry and gave it to Terry to look at as well. So, any thoughts on that?
And it just got to us Friday, so I mean, it's not really had time to look over and go through it. So, and I don't know if the city attorney's had enough time or when he got it to go through and check it out. I mean,
That's
I got
pretty
that
much-
Friday also, and I sent some remarks to the mayor, and I think very important, because apparently it's unanimous with the board that we're going to institute some merit pay method. And I just, my advice, just go cautiously, make sure that we end up with a good policy.
Would a policy like this satisfy the requirements? I know you sent us an email
Yeah.
what the state said. Or does it need to be more detailed than?
I think I don't think that policy would get to that. I think you, with a policy, you could adopt. I think one of the questions was, we've got to make sure when this process is set up that employees are given proper notice that from a date forward, their pay will be merit based. And I'd like to see a few more details in that. And I think it was a good start. I don't mind. I don't mind a bit passing along some specific suggestions. And if you guys just got it Friday, I don't know how many of you ready, but I really would suggest that everybody pass along some suggestions. This is a significant change, and as you go forward, there shouldn't be any doubt about about how you're going to implement it. So,
That's fair.
might suggest, well, that's up to you guys. I'll be glad to I'll be glad to make some specific suggestions, and maybe I don't claim any expertise in the modern HR world by any means. We might want to get somebody to review it, and I can get that done and get back with you. I'll pass along whatever information I get.
Okay, that sounds fair.
So,
Okay.
I just perhaps I don't know if you have a table, I don't know what you do, but
Table.
but let me, again, please read it and pass along some suggestions to me and to the mayor.
Please.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to table it until next month when we can get a little more in-depth with it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion to table from Alderman Norris and second by Alderman Sane. Ms. Ann?
John Austin,
yes.
John Phillips,
yes.
J.T. Hawkins,
Yes.
Johnny Norris.
Yes.
Willie Stain.
Yes.
Motion carries.
So next up is the need approval, board approval for TLM as engineer for the multimodal project And this was also, went through a bid process, and there was no bids that came in. And I've got all the details right here if anybody needs to see it. This is your engineer, just okaying them, and this is what was a sidewalk project that is going to go from the dog park down to the Selmer City Park on the side of the road. So this engineer needs the approval to go forward as the engineer, TLM Associates.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved by Alderman Finlayson and second by Norris. Any questions?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Next up is, we need board approval on the resolution for the $220,000 capital outlay to be used to repair the sinkhole issue on Henco Drive for Phillips 66.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Do y'all have any questions about that?
We gotta specify which one
Yeah.
we are choosing.
Right.
Okay, yes, on the bank. I was trying to get that out.
Like this one right here.
You have in front of you, Centennial, let me just back up.
First
F,
Horizon.
6.23 fixed income, interest rate. Centennial Bank, 6.25 fixed interest rate anytime, optional redemption, 1,000 closing cost. Third is Regions Bank, 5.95 fixed interest rate. 6/1/2026 is your optional redemption, and it's a $10,000 closing cost. And Chase Bank passed, Trust is passed, and Webster Bank passed. So you have, as of right here, 3 options that we got bids for this capital outlay.
Well, my vote is for the number 2, with the $1,000 versus $10,000.
Number one with no
I
closing
need number
costs.
1.
Yeah.
First Horizon.
Yes.
Yeah, no closing costs will lower
Right.
interest rate.
Yeah, no closing
Re-
costs.
Yeah.
Can redemption, no restriction on that, so.
Okay.
That way, if the project goes below the 220,000, then
We
it
can-
cannot step in the.
And it could, and hopefully it can come down. Okay, so we're making a motion to approve the resolution for $220,000 capital outlay with FHN 6.23% interest, fixed interest rate mode, optional redemption anytime, and no closing cost. Do I hear
So moved.
motion?
Or second.
A motion by Alderman Sane and second by Alderman Norris. Any questions on this? Okay, Ms. Ann?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the next up is with the garbage that we was talking about. We discussed the overwhelming increase of commercial garbage rate. But we just need now a motion to authorize our city attorney Abernathy to proceed with negotiation to lower rates and find out about contracts and get the information he needs to help us, hopefully get this to where we don't pass that on to our
I'll move.
negotiation
Second.
regime. Okay, so we've got a motion by
Me.
Austin and second by J.T. Hawkins. Okay, Ms. Ann?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, next up is Chief Carr has a list of grants that needs a motion to pass. We can pass all of them, but I'm going to let him read them. How about that? AFG truck grant, you want to go ahead and read them?
The FG grant will be $125,000 with a $6,200 match. They have just now started awarding last year's. Sitting Congress went ahead and held some more money for this year. So they're getting ready to open them up. If we do get a grant this year, we can opt out of this. And, the AFG Safer grant, $425, there's no match. Governor's Highway Safety grants, $12,500. There's no match. When I went through my audit last week, they think they're gonna have some money left. So if they do, Daniel will call me and I'll have to put something together real quick. The Firehouse Sub Grant, $35,000. There's no match on that. I want to get another set of battery powered extrication tools. The Public Entity Partner Grant, I'm using the Utility Department. There'll be a $1,500 match on that. Dynamic International, that is a new company. I just got an email on it last week. I'd like to try to get some, it's for $50,000 with no match. I'd like to get some decon equipment that when we come out of house fires that we can take our whole air pack and everything and dump in it and get it decon, get the carcinogens off of it. Like I said, this is a new one. I'll have to make some phone calls, but it's going to open up. And then the State Fire Marshal's Office grant will open in about a month. It'll be a $35,000 grant with no match on that.
Okay, so all these grants, do I have a motion?
Move.
Okay, Austin, and second?
Second.
Second by J.T. Hawkins. Any questions? Ms. Ann?
John Austin,
Yes.
John Phil,
Yes.
J.T. Hawkins,
Yes.
Johnny Norman.
Yes.
Willie Stain,
Yes.
motion carries.
That's our agenda. I'm going to read something before we go into our comments from the public. Because we have questions and comments from the audience next. So, I know last night a lot of you saw our meeting last night, and I just, I want us to be a team. So I want to read this, it's just something from the mayor. Reaction to recent town government events has been swift and very negative. Whether it be to an unwarranted 44% property tax increase, panic reactions to a new employee pay raise process, or disgust with the childish rantings of board members who can't handle not getting their way. The calls, texts, emails, and visits have flooded in, and not just from locals. To those who either in person or via this camera that we look at every time we come to our meetings, we're confronted with the boisterous and disrespectful bullying last night. My apologies. I wish I could truthfully claim this behavior was out of character, but sadly I can't. To the citizens of Selmer, I'm embarrassed that you have to endure such from those who should be leading differently. It would be far better for all of us if hate, bitterness, and personal attacks could be permanently replaced by goodwill, cooperation, proper decorum, and a strong desire to do our very best, each and every one of us. For one, our bosses, and not our own self-serving interest. To Selmer taxpayers, I apologize for not being able to do more to combat the huge tax increase, but I did all my limited authority under the town's charter would allow. In the end, the fuzzy math of a $45 average homeowner increase propelled the passage over my veto of what is reality is a $235 average increase. I hope future boards will be able to address and somewhat correct this fiasco. To employees, I continue to work to, and hopefully we as a team will continue to work to raise your pay as originally approved by this board, with greater rewards for those who do outstanding jobs not just in their eyes, but in the eyes of their supervisors, and lesser rewards for those who work performance is lacking. It's this type of process I support and intend to refine and continue. But know this, while in the recent past any raises approved was started July 1, there's no requirement anywhere to make them effective on that date. It's more likely to, in the future, that what I call merit raises will take effect on or about an employee's employment anniversary. So embrace it and learn to accept it. Lastly, to those who wonder why Selmer can't attract new and growing businesses to town, there are several reasons, but you have to look no further than this recent event's clear evidence that the town's government doesn't pull together in a common business and taxpayer-friendly direction, choosing instead to do the exact opposite. And that's not the environment these lookers seek for their business for all their workers. The calls are pouring in at City Hall. That's what we hear ever since. And I'm not trying to say that we're not team players, because everybody here is smart, and y'all bring a lot to the table as a team. And from the very beginning, you know, that's all I've asked for. You know, I have to come to y'all, like I said at the beginning, please, we have to work together. And that's what I thought we were going to do. Maybe someday we'll learn and do much better, and I hope it's within the rest of my term. And that's all I wanted to say. I appreciate y'all. I do. I really do. I appreciate Johnny last night being respectful. J.T. Hawkins, you did also was respectful. You know, our kids are watching. Our kids are here. They watch. You know, they're going to be our next future leaders, our next leaders. And that's what we put in front of them. And I don't have all the answers, but that's what we do as a team.
I've got something to say, since we discussed the Park and Rec Department last night, and one step going back to normal is bringing it back like it was. There was nothing found in the comptroller's investigation after numerous records they searched through. So I mean, it's crazy that we have to make a motion to put the Parks and Rec Department stuff back like it was before, by putting the vehicle back up there for use, by reimbursing the Parks and Rec director for the mileage that they use their own personal vehicle for during business hours to do duties, for people to be able to pay up there their fees to the civic center, the sports they're involved in. That's going back up there. That has to go back up there under there. The comptroller found nothing out of the way. Those are things that where it needs to go back to normal, and if I have to make a motion for that, then I will.
And you can make a motion for that, and it wasn't on the agenda, but you can.
We discussed it last night, and I asked you to put it on the
Absolutely,
agenda,
and I said
and
no.
you refused.
I did, and I want to tell you why, Alderman Finlayson. I think that should be something we should have a special call meeting, gentlemen, and sit down and discuss.
Why do we need a special call meeting for
To
that?
talk, because let me tell you why, and I'm just going
I'll
to,
make
yes,
a
I will.
motion.
I got a
I would.
second.
The reason why is we did taxpayers' money quickly with an adjourn, and we went ahead and made motions, and look where we are with that.
We got a motion in a second.
That study said for the year 2022.
And you can go ahead, and I will veto it. I will veto it, so go ahead. Make your motion.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
All right. Any comments from the audience at this time?
I'd like to say this is Tuesday night, not Monday night. We went through this same stuff last night. And we'll probably be doing it for the next 2 years.
Yes, that sounds like it.
I mean, it is what it is. Don't make sense, but it is.
Yes, if you have to speak, you'll come to the podium, you'll address your name, and then we'll also have just a few minutes. You'll just have about a minute to two. I'm sorry, we're going to try to keep it simple. Go ahead, Mr. Homer.
Mayor Board, guests, how's everybody doing? Can we all just get along? Huh? No. My concern is, okay, got a lot of people here tonight, but I don't know if we're here to instigate, agitate, or investigate, but we need people to participate. See what I'm saying? If you're gonna come, participate, be a voice, because I'm seeing that a lot of these issues that we have in this city is personal. I mean, we can sit and we can listen and we see what's brought up, we see what's said. Look, if we keep doing what we always done, we're gonna keep getting what we always got. We're not gonna go nowhere. Ain't nothing gonna grow. Only way we can grow is change. Don't nothing stay the same. Don't nothing stay the same. If it ain't working, let's get something that work. You know, we need to get rid of this personal stuff. It's just personal, guys. The whole town knows it. They talking about it. Y'all are our leaders. Y'all represent us. Y'all represent the taxpayers. You know. Now we going to a 44% tax increase to pay our employees that need a raise, that need to be paid, but we ain't looking for no other ways to bring revenue in here. That's what y'all supposed to be doing. We supposed to be coming up with new ideas, new ways to get revenue in here that we can pay our employees and get our city to grow. Instead, we hating on one another. Because I've learned one thing, if you're always looking at somebody else, you can't see yourself. We always point fingers at somebody else, but ain't looking at ourselves. I come to these meetings because I want to hear what's going on. I want to know where my tax money going, and I want to know how this city gonna grow. If it can't grow with what we got, we better get something that's gonna help us grow. And if they can't do it, then we gotta get somebody that can do it. But if we just gonna come in here to investigate and agitate and so we can leave out of here and say, man, they sure was awful in that meeting. So that's my concern. Let's look at some ways to get some revenue in here and make sure everybody is doing a proper job. Not just one certain department. Let's look at all the departments. Let's just quit pointing fingers at one place. Because I have discovered, hey, if I don't feel like doing something and I've been getting away with it for a long time, it becomes a habit. Bad habits are hard to break. So if we're going to have our leaders represent us, then we need to make sure that they leading us in the right direction, and we need to make sure that they got the attitude of a leader. Quit hating on one another. Hating on one another. Everybody see it, everybody know it. I'm just the one to come up here and call you out. Because it don't matter to me, because I'm for what's right. I'm gonna back what's right. Because we all gonna have to answer one day. You might not do it right now, but one day you're gonna answer. I hope everybody is thinking about that. Some of us looking forward to it, some of us ain't. Let's quit doing what we always done and keep getting the same old results over and over. Stunning growth, not going nowhere, because we got all these personal issues.
Anybody else? anything else? Oh, we got somebody else, okay. Mr. Ed.
Ed Huggins, I live at 432 East Poplar. Been back in town about 3 years. I moved, grew up south of McNair County, went away for a few years, came back about 4 years ago. When I came back, the biggest thing I saw was we were working on a ballpark up there. And I don't know if it's about Parks and Recs or what. 4 years later, we still don't have a ballpark up there, and we have dumped millions of dollars up there. Now that goes back to, I don't know who it goes back to. As far as Parks and Rec, it's a big contention around here right now, seems to be. I don't have a problem with Sybil. Sybil and I speak to each other cordially, and we're fine there. But as far as the Parks and Rec, it is pathetic is what's happening to it. And I don't know if it needs to be privatized, but the ball field out there, the Little League field, has been there 70 years, and it looks like it did 70 years ago, if not worse. We're not putting the money into it. Well, she don't have the money. She don't have the maintenance people. She privatized the parks and mowing the ball field up there. They look great when they're mowed clean. But do something with them and quit dumping money into a director if that's what you expect her to do. And if it's not happening, if it's not her job, put it where it's supposed to be and get it done. She does a fairly good job of doing collecting. I won't get into collecting because I don't know anything about how it's working or what's the problem with that. She does a good job of getting people out there. Cause I see that ball field out there with several hundred kids on it and hundreds of cars out there. But they're going up there and somebody approved to build one up there that they bought by mistake years ago and had to play a playable field. They spent another $800,000 on it, and now you can't play on it. I was up there yesterday, and it's standing in 4 inches of water. Now go figure what you did with your $800,000. And don't worry about the petty things, about personalities and stuff like that. Worry about where you dumped the biggest part of the money for the last 3 years up there.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not sure that a lot of people understand.
A lot of people don't know the parks, leave them up there first.
Okay, but I'm not even talking about that part. But the Dixie Youth Park that you're talking about, I don't know if you know this, but that is county land. So the city cannot get grants for that. We cannot get grants because if we get grants and put money into that, then we're giving it to the county. And then the county, we have got to keep it as a park for forever and a day. I don't know.
So
that
it's just
a lot
gonna
of
stay-
people understand that.
Okay.
But we maintain it,
Okay.
We
We do
maintain
maintain
it. We maintain it.
Okay.
And we do keep it mowed, and we do keep it weed eated, and we do our best out there with one person since January.
That's what I'm saying, Sybil. If you haven't got the people to do it, can't do it. There's
No one
hundreds
wants
of
to work.
groundskeepers around here who would be glad to go out there and get our park like Bolivar's or like Crump's or someplace else
We
over
have
there
to
with
have-
fewer people than we got, less money than we got, and they got beautiful ball fields. Ours look
John,
like a pigsty out there.
Can't believe you.
That is,
So
this
disappointed.
board has talked about, we talked about this several years ago, that when Patriot Park gets finished, we would like to move all the ball playing to Patriot Park, and this park will go back to the school where it belongs. Because then they will have that to take care of. The Selmer Middle School, we had talked with them, they're the only school in the county that does not have a home softball field. And so that was going to give them an advantage to have a home softball field. But no one has asked me this in a year and a half. What ideas do you have? What do you want to see grow? I have not been asked that.
Why you didn't just tell us? If you had an idea, why you
I am told to shut my mouth.
It's open mic
No,
right now. You can be
something
John
right
Q. Public
now.
and get right here and say anything you want to about it.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Is there anybody else?
I'd just like to say I got phone calls up to about 11 o'clock last night, talking about the meeting last night. And I said, we just gonna pray about it, and I hope attitudes will change. Some things don't change, but it was very disrespectful, I think, my opinion, and I just didn't appreciate it.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. When you pray, God expects you to move on things. Don't expect God to come down here.
Yes, hang on just a second. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let the podium speak.
I'm sorry.
My bad. Sorry. Apologize.
That's okay.
My name is Alicia Tull. I have lived in this town for over 20 years. I grew up in McNairy County. and I chose to raise my family here. I have come to some of the board meetings. I'm not always able to attend. Being a city resident, I understood some of the reasons for the property tax increase and that needing to be for raises. But at the same time, I see a lot of wasteful spending in this city, things that are not necessary, things that, yes, we would all like to see, we would all like to have done. But if the town doesn't have the money for it, those things have to wait. I have come to board meetings where items that were going to cost several $1,000s have been tabled and then come to the next meeting and the money have been spent. And that was almost a year and a half ago. And when I look at that project, I'm still waiting for it to be finished because I'm hoping that the product I'm looking at, it's not the finished one. Because it certainly does not include details.
Ms. Toll, can I ask, what, is there something that
That
you
would
told
be
us?
the Town of Selmer website.
Okay, Town of Selmer website. Thank you for saying that.
I also I understand the need for sprucing up things, buying things, but we had a large tax increase, and like I said, I'm okay with that. But then I see a few weeks ago where we have purchased more signs to put up. Some of that stuff needs to be put on hold if we don't have the money, and if we're having to do that large of a tax increase, the town obviously does not have the money for some of the projects that we're doing. Oh, we've put up signs and redone signs all over the city in recent.
We put up farmer's
There
market
were some at the
signs,
farmer's market.
but those were from a grant for $300. We purchased those from a grant, part of a grant.
Well, that's nice to know.
Okay.
But like I said, we have spent a lot of money, and I will tell you, I discussed with people back well over a year ago that our spending habits were going to lead to a property tax increase. I've been saying that for a long time. And I do want us to all get along. And I hate to drag in any names, but I do know somebody that came to your office and sat down and talked with you. And for over a year, you didn't speak to that person afterwards.
Okay.
And so, you know, if we're going to talk about being professional and being leaders, we all need to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last night, the mayor stated that we are now accepting payments online. When was Parks and Rec going to be told that? Because I had no knowledge of us accepting
When we get it finished, we
payments
will.
online.
When we finish, we will. We don't have it all in detail yet.
Last night, though, you stated that they can now pay online.
I sure did, and Angie has been working on it, so when she gets it, she'll let us know.
Okay, because I have not been told anything about that. And don't you think, being the Parks and Rec director, I should be told that, Mr. Willie?
You should.
Thank you.
Ms. Selmer.
The disrespect just keeps going. Okay, is this it? Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Sack.
My name is Isaiah Jackson, and as you know, I work at the Selmer Community Center.
Yes.
And it's crazy how you grow up in a town that you love, and one day you have to leave that because of the board members and the mayor. It is crazy how we're fighting over money and cars that are paid by a department. And money is being lost. And people say that the parks don't look good, but you're not out there volunteering. I don't see no one out there helping. No one taking their free time to help. So until you do that, I don't see how your opinion should be looked at. It's crazy that I'm an 18-year-old and I can see. And I hope y'all can get together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, if anything else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. That wasn't so bad, at least nobody hit each other. That was a good thing. Nobody hit each other.
It's fun, eh?